Welcome back to Engineering Without Borders, the podcast where we explore how engineering connects people, countries, and ideas. Today, we're discussing a topic that many engineers are curious about. What is it really like to practice civil engineering in the Philippines compared with the United States? And here with me is my co host, Engineer Dexter.
Yes, sir. Good evening. And to our whether you're a student, a newly licensed engineer, or someone considering working abroad, today's conversation will help you understand the similarities, the differences, and opportunities that exist in both countries.
Yes, it's like one profession, two system. Same engineering profession, but because we're in two different parts of the world, iba yung ginagawa natin. So the way engineers become licensed and practice their profession can be very different in its countries, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So every country has its own laws, regulations, standards, and professional responsibilities. Understanding those differences is the first step toward becoming a globally competent engineer.
Yeah, sometimes we think that because we're licensed in our own country, we can be licensed in anywhere else, right?
Mhm.
As we said earlier, engineering is universal, but there are some laws that are required in other countries where they are not applicable in our own countries, right? So
Yeah.
let's begin with the biggest question. How does someone really become a licensed engineer? In the Philippines, the process is fairly straightforward. Pagkatapos mo ng college, you earn your bachelor's degree in civil engineering from a recognized university, complete the required academic program, and then you can take the civil engineering licensure right away, right? Administered by the Professional Regulation Commission or PRC. Passing the board exam allows you to register and legally practice as a civil engineer, even without an experience, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Same too here in the US. We have pathways, and I believe it is more steps to undergo. So after completing an AVET accredited engineering degree or an equivalent degree that has been evaluated, you typically take the fundamentals of engineering. So ang counterpart ng fundamentals of engineering is basically the board exam in our case. Only yun nga lang merong mga additional exams to take. So fundamentals of engineering, after passing it, you are not yet licensed, but passing this exam earns you the title to become an engineer in training, or as some others says, engineering intern. So the next step is for you to generally earn a certain number of years of experience. So that's what they call now progressive engineering, and experience under the supervision of a licensed professional engineer. So yun lang ang difference niya. So parang sa architecture din sa Pilipinas. So you cannot take the exam without undergoing an internship, and it must be supervised by a certain architect. So parehas lang dito. But in the professional engineer per se, after meeting the experience requirements, you become eligible to take the principle and practice of engineering. Ito yung tinatawag na PE examination. So the PE examination is a national examinations. Passing the PE exam allows you to become a licensed professional. Although licensing requirements are determined by each state, just like here in California. Makapasa ka man ng professional engineering examination, you are not yet considered a full licensed engineer. You still need to take two other examinations for you to get your license, full, full-fledged license. And these licenses, additional two examinations are the surveying and the seismic. So unlike in the other states na once you pass your PE, you are already considered a full-fledged professional engineer. Pero yun lang difference dito sa California. So that's the requirement now, Sir Ron.
Yeah, I think there's another state that does the same thing. Meron silang second exam to be a professional engineer. I think it's
Mhm.
New York or Florida. I'm not quite sure, but as far as I know, there are three states that require two-step to become a PE. It's very interesting to know yung sinabi mo, ano, you have to take the fundamental of engineering exam or the EIT as they call it. And then once you pass that, that's the only time that you can really, gain experience as an engineer. And I believe it requires, you mentioned it, you're required to have like a certain number of years before you can take the PE exam after passing the EIT. Actually,
Yeah,
when I first,
approximately 3
Mhm.
years.
Yeah,
Approximately 3 years.
actually, that's what was required of me when I applied for a PE. I was able to waive the EIT because of my years of experience. That's another pathway, kasi maraming pathways to professional engineering dito sa US. It's either you pass the PE or you can waive the fundamental of engineering. At least I think it's 15 years of civil engineering experience. Then you can waive the FE, go straight to PE. But in my case, when they still needed a 2 years experience locally here in the
Mhm.
US for me to be able to
Yeah,
apply.
yeah.
Unfortunately, I because I did not take the EIT here, and at the time when I was looking for a job as a transportation engineer or any engineering related field to get that to satisfy that 2 years requirement, I told myself I'll work for the government as an engineer. But at that time, when I was applying, there was a hiring freeze in the state of California, so it took me like years before I was able to get into really engineering position. So unless you get an assignment that really falls to an engineering experience, those years of experience as a technician won't be uh, counted. So I work as an estimator, draftsman, as a material testing technician before I got into engineering. Now, na-waive ko na yung FE niyan, ha? But I still need to have an engineering experience here for 2 years. By the time there's another pathway to get into an engineering job here in California. So marami yan, ano. But
Actually,
uh,
just to add on it, even a fourth year college can take the fundamental exam. Not necessary that you're already a graduate of the BS.
yeah,
You can already take the FA exam.
on your junior year, they can let you take the EIT exam. And ito for the benefit of our listeners, ano, even if you don't have an engineering degree, you can challenge the EIT as
Yeah,
long as you
yeah,
work in an engineering company. That's a very interesting, diba? And you can be a PE even if you did not graduate as a civil engineer. As
yeah,
long as
yeah,
you have an engineering experience, you pass the EIT, you pass the PE, you can be a licensed
yeah.
engineer. That's interesting, right? So while both countries require, technical knowledge, the U.S. system really places a great emphasis on documented professional experience before full licensure. Di ba?
Sabi nga nila, learning doesn't stop after getting license. Right, Sir Ron?
In the Philippines, engineers renew their PRC license and complete continuing professional development, or what we call CPD units, to maintain their professional competence. I think it's somewhat similar here in the US, but they call it different, like PDH.
Yeah. So here in the United States, many states require continuing education or PDAs, or what they call now the professional development offers, often called the PDAs, for license renewal requirements vary by state. But the goal is the same, to ensure engineers stay current with technology, regulations, and professional practice. But there is a big difference, just like here in California. And it is a good news to those practicing their profession here in California. Really, you don't need to have a continuing professional development. Only other states na kailangan talaga. Just like I have my license in Nevada, so I need to to earn my CPD to renew my license. But in here in California, you don't need to. It's automatic. Maybe because of the extra examinations that
Examination, yeah.
we took already.
And I think it has something to do with, you know, if you're working engineering related, that's already considered as a professional development hours, right?
Mhm.
Because if you're a professional engineer, you will be signing plans, you will be signing designs, you will be signing calculations, right? So another major difference is the engineering codes used in design and construction. I was surprised when aside from the system of measurement, when I arrived here, I had really got. It's not confusing, It's I think it's only the U.S. that's using the English system. Every
Mhm.
majority in the world they use metric. So when I got here, it's a period of adjustment. But
Yeah.
I got used to it. Except of course the major differences I've said in engineering codes and design and in construction.
In the Philippines, engineers commonly use the NSCP. We call it the NSCP, the National
Mhm.
Structural Code of the Philippines, and also the National Building Code and the DPW specifications for public works and other local standards. So, just like what you mentioned, I just want to add on it. The US makes use of the imperial or the English units.
Mm.
Ang nakakatawa sa atin, metric in combination with English ginagamit dito sa Pilipinas eh.
Mm.
So, 'pag bumili ka ng kahoy, English system, 2x4, 2x2. Pero kung nasa reinforced concrete ka, 10 mm, 12 mm.
Mhm.
So, it's
Yeah,
a mixed, we are used to in using those mixed units.
yeah. Pero at least yung English system na gamit measurement natin doon is only for the uh, lumber and timber sizes. All
Mhm.
the rest is
Met
metric, di ba? Yeah, you mentioned about the code difference in codes, what they use in the Philippines. In the U.S., engineers work with codes such as the International Building Code, yung ASTO, American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials,
mhm.
yung standard for ACI, yung standard for concrete, yung
Yeah.
AISC, specification for
Mhm.
steel structures, and standards for loads infrastructure. Transportation projects also follow state-specific standards, such as those developed by the Department of Transportation. In California, we use that highway design manual. Yeah, it's really different. I don't know in the Philippines if we have that highway design manual that Public Works use. I'm not familiar with that when I was in Public Works and Highways.
Actually, we have, uh, our codes in the Philippines is exactly adapted kung ano yung nandito sa US. Yun nga lang, right now, the NSCP 7th edition or 5th edition ng na ginagamit sa Pilipinas came from ASCE 7, if I'm not mistaken, ASCE 710. Pero ngayon, ang ginagamit natin sa US ngayon is ASCE 722 or ASCE 716, depende sa state. So in the Philippines, we are making use of the old version. So medyo behind tayo. We are behind by approximately 5 years. NSCP for vertical structures, and then meron naman tayong ginagamit doon for highway, yun yung based on ASTO, LRFT. Parehas lang, parehas lang.
Yeah. When I was in Public Works, Department of Public Works in the Philippines, well, I was in the building Bureau of Construction, so we do buildings. I'm not in the roadways and highways, so I didn't see any highway design manuals that they use in design. But all those NSCP, I believe we refer to them when we evaluate and
Yeah.
the design building design. So engineering has changed today. We're talking about those old codes, like you mentioned. So engineering has changed dramatically over the past decades, di ba, engineer?
Yes, yes, Ron. So, building information modeling or BIM, so ito bago ito. And this is becoming standard practice around the world, especially for project management. digital twins, drones, laser scanning, GIS. You also have cloud collaboration, AI, and automation are transforming how projects are planned, designed, and managed.
Yeah, transportation agencies as well are also using advanced traffic modeling. Nandiyan na yung mga synchro or
Mm.
vsim, intelligent transportation system, and asset management software to improve safety and infrastructure performance.
The exciting part is that many of these
Mm.
technologies are no longer limited to large organizations. Students and young engineers can learn many of these tools through online courses and affordable softwares.
Yeah, that's right. Well, let's talk about career opportunities. So, in the Philippines, the country continues to invest in transportation, flood control, which has caused a huge scandal recently, airports, railways, ports, and water infrastructures. These projects create demand for engineers in both the public and private sectors.
Also, here in the United States, there is also significant demand for engineers due to aging infrastructure, highway rehabilitation, bridge replacement. We also have the climate resilience projects, renewable energy, where I am at now, and water resource improvements. So, engineers with experience in project management, structural design, geotechnical engineering, we also have construction and transportation, remain highly sought after.
International opportunities are also growing, especially now. Mutual recognition frameworks
Mhm.
such as APEC, diba, and the International Professional Engineer Registers. These are helping facilitate professional mobility for Filipino engineers. While these credentials do not replace local licensure requirements, they demonstrate competence and make it easier for engineers like our peers in colleague in PIC to have their qualification recognized across participating economies, and it's a big help. It's a big jump. You don't have to if you can do a reciprocity with your exam. You don't have to
Mhm.
take those grueling reviews and exam, especially if you graduated long time ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago. It's very difficult to really get all those information back.
So you need to develop your communication skills, especially improve your technical writing. I still remember when I took up my master's degree in the Philippines. The first subject that I had was the technical writing. So, although itong technical writing is subject natin noong college,
College,
pero
yeah.
'pag master's degree talagang meron pa rin, eh. Hindi tayo makakaligtas dun sa technical writing. So, let's learn of project management. So,
Mhm.
let's become familiar with the international engineering standards. And as I've said, stay curious about new technology.
Yeah, and most importantly, remember that integrity, professionalism, and protecting public safety are values shared by engineers
Mhm.
everywhere. Kahit saan naman yan, standard sa atin yun. Sa code of ethics natin, di ba? Engineering may look different from one country to another, but our responsibility to society remains the same.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so let's wrap up now our episode 2 of Engineering Without Borders. We hope today's discussion gave you a clearer picture of how civil engineering is practiced in the Philippines and the United States.
Yeah, in our next episode, we'll explore another important topic beyond the license, building an international engineering career. So, with that, we'll discuss certifications,
Mm.
graduate studies, professional organizations, and the practical ways to prepare for opportunities around the world. So, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Doc.
Yeah, thank
Where,
you too, Sir Ron.
wherever you are, sa mga viewers natin, keep learning.
Keep building.
And remember, engineering,
Engineering truly knows no
no
borders.
borders. Thank you. And till next time, till next episode.
Okay, good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.